Matt Bernie here for RacingPicks.com, taking a look at 5 races for this Saturday, June the 20th, 2020. 4 of them from Belmont Park, 1 from Santa Anita. It is Belmont Stakes Day, the first leg in the American Triple Crown here in 2020. I'll take a look at the Belmont and my play of the day in another video. This video here, we'll take a look at races 6, 7, and 8 from Belmont Park. They are part of a mandatory payout pick 5 sequence kicking off in race number 6. And let's breeze through those races. Race number 6, the Grade 3 Wonder again, 3-year-old fillies, a mile on the Widener turf course, only a field of 5. Not a lot of speed in the race, could potentially compromise my top pick. That's the number 3 Highland Glory for Barkley Tag, a name that you'll probably hear a little bit later on as well. Barkley Tag has done a tremendous job with this filly. She's a 3-year-old daughter of Sky Mesa. She's got a big pedigree. Belmont Park should be to her liking. The concern, again, is the lack of speed in this race, given the fact that she's a horse that probably is not gifted necessarily with sort of the early foot that a horse like Sweet Melania may be, or even a horse like Antoinette getting back to the turf for Belmont. As far as Highland Glory is concerned, I love the effort in the Sanibel Island, 2 starts back at Gulfstream Park, and in her most recent start, unfortunately for her, a little bit of traffic early on. She had to check pretty hard around the first turn, started really picking up steam, rounding the far turn, unfortunately needed to weave through traffic again, and she had already spotted about 3 lengths to the eventual winner that day in Micheline. I think Highland Glory is a very, very talented filly. The question ultimately will be, what kind of pace situation do we get in a short field? Typically, that's when pace situations get a little bit murky. I'm going to hope that talent wins out. I'm going to go with the number 3 Highland Glory in race 6 at Belmont on Saturday. That's the Grade 3 Wonder again. Let's move on to race number 7. This is going to be the only race of the 5 that I discussed for Saturday that is not a graded stakes event. This is a state-bred N1X race going 6 furlongs on the inner turf course at Belmont. It's an interesting spot. You can go a number of different ways. I feel like it's a race that many people will decide to spread in, especially knowing that the payoff leg is the Belmont Stakes of this pick 5 sequence anyway. This race also kicks off a pick 4 sequence that you're going to want to dive into as well. I'm very intrigued by the number 3 horse. That is Single Verse. First time going out for trainer Rob Atras. Now, this horse used to be in Bruce Brown's barn. Bruce Brown's barn is not one that typically excels with turf sprinters. Usually, I like to look at that sort of angle and say, when a horse can do something that the barn doesn't necessarily excel at, that to me just speaks volumes about the horse. And I think Single Verse, while she's only tried turf 1 time, I thought that effort was spectacular. That second lifetime start, she made the front, got run down by Ava K's Girl. I understand maybe that's a little bit disappointing, but the way that she moved and given how close she was to a relatively fast pace for her second lifetime start, first time on turf, I think Single Verse is very interesting in here. She can lay back if the pace ends up being hot, and if for some reason the pace doesn't materialize, Ricardo Santana Jr. can get her into the run a little bit earlier and put her in a very nice position to capitalize. I think the number 3 Single Verse is in with a big, big chance. She initially was going to be my play of the day, but there's another horse out at Santa Anita we'll talk about in the second video that I have to go and call my play of the day because I love the horse. And let's move on to race number 8, the last race that I'll discuss for this video here anyway. It's a Grade 1 Acorn 3-year-old filly's a 1-turn mile. You understand why Gamine for Bob Baffert is going to be sort of the talk of the town. She's done nothing wrong. I like a filly that also has done nothing wrong, and that's Casual going out for Steve Asmussen and Ricardo Santana. She's the number 4. She's a perfect 2 for 2, and the most recent run at Churchill Downs, I loved everything about it. She was relatively close to the pace, closer than she was in the career debut. She's down on the inside, a little bit of a tight position, doesn't have to love it down there. She's been a little bit late with her lead changes in each of her first 2 starts, but the way that she eventually leveled off and extended down the lane at Churchill most recently, I just thought it was a spectacular effort. Pedigree is there. The dam was a multiple Grade 1 winner, including the Grade 1 test up at Saratoga going 7 furlongs. This 1-turn mile shouldn't be an issue. If you have concerns, it has to be about the form of the race that she's exiting at Churchill. The runner-up only returned to earn a 71 buyer, the third-place finisher a 44 buyer. I'm letting my eyes do the job here. I think Casual is a special talent. I think she could be a major player as far as these 3-year-old fillies are concerned the rest of the way for Asmussen and company. So race number 8 at Belmont, the Grade 1 Acorn. I'll go with the number 4 Casual. Quick recap. Race number 6, the Grade 3 Wonder again. I'm going to go with the 3 Highland Glory. Race number 7, it's the state-bred N1X on turf. The number 3 Single Verse. And the Grade 1 Acorn. Race number 8, the number 4 Casual. Now, in the second video, we'll take a look at my play of the day, which happens to be out at Santa Anita Park, as well as the Grade 1 Belmont Stakes.